I remember as a child being sick. Now I know what you're thinking, everybody gets sick. But this was more than just being sick like when you had a cold or the flu. This was way worse. I remember having the fever and chills all at the same time, and all these red, blistery bumps that itched like crazy. I had these bumps in my mouth, on my scalp, under my hair, and in more places than I can mention, as they were everywhere. I even remember wearing mittens on my hands because I was told that if I itched too often, I would have scars, and I didn't want scars. I also remember that the only good part about it was that I got to stay home from school. With a quick trip to the doctor, it was confirmed I had the chickenpox. Now, according to the National Vaccine Information Center, 3.7 million cases of varicella, which is the official name of chickenpox, happens to occur in the United States annually in the early 1900s. Data from that same record show that in 1992, 158,000 cases of chickenpox were reported and more than 100 deaths happened. More than half of these deaths were in adults because chickenpox is way worse in an adult than it is in a child. Up to 20% of the adults who get chickenpox develop severe complications such as pneumonia. Other rare complications from chickenpox include serious bacterial infections of the lesions, which are those red blistery bumps, and brain inflammation. However, these are reported in less than 1% of children who get chickenpox. Most children and adults who develop the severe complications from chickenpox disease already have compromised immune systems or other health problems. Now I realize that chickenpox is just one childhood disease, but what is most interesting about this is that many children today, through the process of vaccination, will never ever get chickenpox today. Today I'm going to discuss with you why it is so important to follow through on the vaccination schedules that are given, and why many still believe that vaccination is still the best option for disease control and prevention. To fully understand where vaccinations have come from for us today, we need to start back at the beginning. At ahistoryofvaccines.org, which is authored by the College of Physicians of Philadelphia, they have prepared a wonderful timeline that is available for everybody to view. For our purpose today, I'm going to give a brief overview of that history. Did you know that the first laboratory vaccine was performed by Louis Pasteur in 1879? But the story does not start there. Evidence shows that the Chinese have been using a smallpox vaccination as early as 1000 CE. It was also practiced in Africa and Turkey before spreading to the United States and Europe. With Edward Jenner's innovations, he successfully used cowpox material to create an immunity to smallpox in 1796. Smallpox, if you're not sure, is a highly contagious virus that is marked by a rash that, due to vaccination, has been completely eliminated from the United States since 1949. The CDC also reports that due to worldwide vaccination campaigns, smallpox no longer occurs naturally anywhere in the world. And smallpox is not the only vaccination that has created infectious disease to be eliminated from the United States. Polio, which was once the most dreaded childhood disease of the 20th century, last occurred in the United States naturally in 1979. Diphtheria's last case was reported in 2008. And the measles was declared eliminated from the United States population since 2000. Now we all know that the government does support mandatory vaccination, and there are more than 8 vaccinations that every child is required to have before they can enter public schools today. But did you know that many physicians also support mandatory vaccination? Many of you may have already heard of the stories where many physicians and hospitals have refused to treat unvaccinated individuals or even allow them to enter the office. Why? Do we not all benefit by complying with those vaccination schedules? The theory, through a report by the National Vaccine Information Center at nvic.gov, released an assessment into the studies of health outcomes related to the recommended childhood immunization schedules back in February of 2012. Through this report, it was their conclusion that although they recognized that the federal vaccine policies and state mandates do eradicate and control many infectious disease through the universal use of vaccines, and that this is what is at the top of most lists of the notable public health program achievements. They also note that unlike prescription drugs, which are used to treat ill people and make them feel better, vaccines are given to well people to keep them well. So should any vaccination be required for children? That same report acknowledges that federal and state mandates do, however, fail to acknowledge that the biodiversity and the fact that we are not all built the same and we do not all react the same to all drugs. However, they do firmly believe that the end does justify the means. The National Vaccine Information Center still maintains that through the use of good science, it will lead to wise and compassionate vaccination policies and to restore secure public confidence, because after all, every life is being respected and protected, including those with the increased susceptibility to adverse reactions. The website of KNOW, vaccines.org, states that vaccination improves public health, and that with mass vaccination, it protects everyone's health. And the logic behind high vaccination rates are necessary in order to prevent the return of terrible diseases, and in order to protect the public, they need to be vaccinated. And there is also the benefit that it has proven vaccinations are saving lives. The vaccination history has proven that it has prevented suffering and death from infection diseases for years. It also shows evidence that in some communities where there has been reduced vaccination, this has resulted in outbreaks and deaths from those preventable diseases. Still, with all the history and evidence in support of vaccinations, there are still many individuals who refuse to be vaccinated. Why would that be? Well, maybe it's just your individual liberty, and you just do not believe in going to the doctor. Religious beliefs also prevent you from vaccination. Money can be a contributing factor if you cannot afford to go to the doctor. And many have allergies to the ingredients that vaccinations themselves are made from. I'm not saying that all vaccinations should be mandatory. People still need to be able to follow their own beliefs. But isn't it true that overall, throughout history, vaccinations have proven to be the best defense against infectious diseases that can spread through the air from person to person, claiming thousands, even millions of lives? I also understand that not every person is able to get a vaccination, whether it be to an allergic reaction or the ingredients or whatever environmental factors they believe in. But I do believe that it is our duty to protect those that have compromised immunity systems from contracting controllable diseases and stopping these controllable diseases from coming back into our country and recreating the epidemics that we have fought so hard over the years to eliminate or control. Incomplete vaccination coverage increases the risk of disease for the entire population, even those who have been vaccinated, because it reduces herd immunity. And by increasing herd immunity, it also helps those who do have compromised immune systems, as they rely on others to be vaccinated. Just think, if you are somebody with a compromised immunity and you are in a room full of people, nobody's been vaccinated, your chances are even greater that you will contract that disease. However, if that same individual with the compromised immunity system is in a room full of people that have all been vaccinated and not carriers of a disease in the first place, your chances of not contracting that disease are also higher. So I still do believe that through proper vaccination, everybody is protected in the end. Thank you.